Breaking news, the White House unleashing an all-out assault on Germany over a right-wing political party. Secretary of State Rubio, Elon Musk, and Vice President Vance attacking America's longtime ally. Vance even accusing the Germans of rebuilding the Berlin Wall. This came after Germany's domestic intelligence agency classified the far-right political party in Germany, the AfD, as extremist, which makes it easier for them to have surveillance on it. AfD is an anti-migration party with a co-leader who has been fined for using Nazi slogans. But the White House, once again, is coming to its defense as anti-American sentiment is growing overseas amid Trump's trade war. And Melissa Bell has this special report tonight for us out front.
So
before you would have come in and you would have taken these chips?
I used to take this one, but now, well, I took this one.
Across Europe, a quiet protest is playing out in supermarket aisles. American products left untouched. The hashtag Boycott Trump is gaining traction as Facebook groups rally Europeans to push back against US policies with their wallets. Michel joined a French group in March.
As long as we had aggressive policy of American administration, we want to make pressure to say, stop it.
His group even provides an app called De-Trumpify Yourself that lets consumers know if a company's funding traces back to the United States.
Fanta, I wonder if it is. So we just use the app and it says, yes, it's
American.
It's also
so
American.
Put it back.
Well, we'll try with that. We look like
this is a very French brand.
Very French, but sometimes we have surprised. Yes.
Good,
so,
we can buy
it.
But sometimes you get surprises because you find that a company that you thought was French has in fact been bought by an American group, and that's the point of the app.
Exactly.
One recent survey in France found that 6 out of 10 people support consumer boycotts of US goods. The poll also showed that the hardest hit American brands included Tesla, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and Victoria's Secret. But it's not just products. Travel to the US from Europe is also down. In March, visits dropped 17% compared to the same time last year.
It's changed the way we travel. It's changed the way we consume. There's hesitation and fear about going to the United States.
Stop Trump! So Guylaine, who asks us not to use her last name as she has family in the United States, joined a small group of American protesters on Thursday.
Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
Just here in Paris, there have been 3 anti-Trump protests in as many weeks, including this one, at the heart of what is a traditional day of demonstration here in Paris, the May Day protest, with a decidedly American feel. Now, this group include not just Americans who live here, but also some of their European allies and American tourists who've just taken a day off of their vacation to make their voice heard.
I'm here for my grandparents, who were immigrants from Italy, and there was prejudice against them, and they were very, very proud to be in America, and I'm not sure they would be today.
Melissa Bell, CNN, Paris.
Stop Trump!
Fareed Zakaria is out front now, host of Fareed Zakaria GPS. And Fareed, you see Melissa's report. It's amazing. That app is fascinating in and of itself. But the anti-American, sentiment feeling boycotts, we're seeing it. Tourism numbers are down. I mean, and sure, Tesla has a specific link to Musk, right? He's a lightning rod himself. But the numbers out of Sweden today were an 80% drop in Tesla sales. France wasn't far behind. I mean, these are real numbers. This is not just talk. This is action.
Erin, it's really remarkable because for the last 30 or 40 years, ever since the fall of the Berlin Wall, this wave of global integration has resulted in American brands becoming the leading global brands in the world. Everything from Coca-Cola to McDonald's, which were always big, but Tesla, and of course, all the information technology companies, Google, Apple. We've been riding this extraordinary wave of American brands being considered the leading brands in the world. Take American universities, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, all of them. This is the world that, in a way, Donald Trump inherited. And somehow, systematically he is tarnishing every one of these brands. He's attacking the American universities. He's doing things that are tarnishing these global brands because he's so alienating the rest of the world. And I think it's important to remember, you know, it's not just people buying Coca-Cola. It's people. Are people going to want to come and study in the United States if they think, as Marco Rubio has kept telling them, we can revoke your visa anytime we want, we can deport you anytime we want? So you're going to see a kind of a slow stagnation of some of the crown jewels of America.
I remember the book Cities on a Hill. I think it was back in the 80s, but I still remember reading it and even getting to the point, you know, what Los Angeles stands for to the country and to the world, what America stands for. You know, Harry Enton was looking at some numbers this week, Fareed, to this point of what America stands for. And the belief that America has a positive impact in the world, right? The intangible city on a hill, that has fallen in 26 of 29 countries recently surveyed, 26 of 29. You know, I know it's impossible to answer this question, you know, fully at this moment, but what's your feeling on this as to whether the United States can recover, even if the tariffs become a bad memory and Trump really does move on past it? No evidence he will, but even if that happens, is the damage permanent?
I don't know, permanent. Permanent is a big word, but it's long lasting because, you know, Trump has now been elected twice. And I was actually surprised by how high the numbers were, in the sense there's still a reservoir of goodwill. There's still a sense that the United States stands for the right things, even though, you know, we're siding with Putin, we're trashing our European allies, we're talking down democracy. So, you know, I think that once you break trust, it's very hard to rebuild. Trust takes a long time to build, and it's very easy to break.
So I mentioned the issue going on with the AfD right now. Marco Rubio, Elon Musk, J.D. Vance have been attacking Germany and Europe overall, but Germany in particular after the country's domestic intelligence agency classified the far-right political party AfD as extremist. Now, that makes it easier for them to surveil it, but they have now classified it as extremist. This is a party that the individuals I just mentioned, and certainly Musk and Vance, have defended again and again, right? It's an anti-migration party. The co-leader's been fined for using Nazi slogans. So what do you make of now? You know, the party gets labeled extremist by domestic intelligence, and still there's this rise to its defense.
Well, what I'm most struck by, Erin, is that Donald Trump, for much of his first term, in fact, I think it was in his, maybe his first inaugural, the first speech he gave at Davos, Elon Musk recently at the World Government Forum in Dubai, they talk about how we are not going to tell the rest of the world how to run their affairs. We've had enough of these liberal internationalists going around telling the world how to run their affairs. Well, then it turns out, here they are lecturing Germany on how it should handle very sensitive issues of free speech and such. Now, I have my own issues with it, but I think it's very odd for the United States to get weigh in on a domestic issue in Germany. Let's remember, the Europeans treat free speech differently. They don't have a First Amendment. And Germany has a very sensitive past with regard to far-right extreme nationalist parties. And surely anyone who understands history will have some ability to respect that.
Yeah, well, obviously we have seen a different take. Fareed, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time on a Friday night.